You're welcome to close your eyes if you prefer that in your practice. If that's not your preference, you can keep your gaze kind of fuzzy. You're not examining anything with your eyes. And the eyes can help your mind to get more still. And allow your ears to simply take in the present moment as it is, whatever the sounds, the absence of some sounds, the presence of other sounds. I had a teacher once who liked to teach a meditation called the absence of toothache, which was to meditate on in the present moment when we did not have a toothache, to meditate on appreciation that we did not have a toothache. So you could meditate on the absence of leaf blower sound or chainsaw sound if that's not in your environment, or the absence of large construction noises, for example. And relax the hinge of your jaw and let your tongue soften at the bottom of your mouth. So your eyes, your ears, your tongue, they help to tell your mind and your brain, here we are in the present moment. These are moments of opportunity and moments of refuge. So that when we become renewed, we go back out into the world with our speech, our hearing, and our eyes more tuned for empathy, reciprocity, and action. So with this as a possibility that your practice can nurture, please bring your hands together at your heart. You might even notice how when you bring the palms together, that felt sensation, which is familiar since you've done the gesture many times, how does that feel fresh in this moment? And then we'll chant together, Sahana, Vavatu, Sahana, Bhunaktu. Let's begin. Sahana, Vavatu, Sahana, Bhunaktu, Savidyam, Karavavahi, Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma Vivishavai. Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma Vivishavai. Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu. Ma Vivishavai. Om Shanti Om. Shanti Shanti Om. You may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Please open your eyes. Okay, so from where you're sitting, we are going to do a pranayama practice. Let me give you a better audio access to me. So I'd like you to, you can shake your legs out if you need to, but I'd like you to be able to have space for your arms to go wide. And then for the forward bend that we sometimes go to with this pranayama sequence. So check that you have a wingspan and you have a forward bend available. Okay. And let's turn the palms out and up like this. And then slowly inhale and raise your arms in tune with the length of your breath to get to the high point of your movement at the top of the inhale. Turn your palms out and exhale, pressing down, lengthen your spine upwards. So this is simple for you guys, it's familiar. We're going to add something, please do this twice more while I'm chatting with you. We're going to add something in for the pacing of the breath, using the first, middle, and upper third of the inhale. When we exhale to press out, I'm going to ask you to really think of lengthening your spine upwards, including the tone of the low belly that then moves upwards to the length of your upper back, and then into the crown of your skull. So let's do this in rhythm together. At the end of the next exhale, we will pace this process. So here now I'm going to ask you to inhale 1/3 of the breath, take the arms just out partway. Pause. Inhale the 2nd third of the breath, lift your arms the 2nd third of the distance. Pause. And then inhale to the upper third of your breath, raise your arms up. And exhale, push out one long, seamless exhale. Focus on the tone of your lower belly and the movement of your thoracic spine and the crown of your skull upwards. Okay, let's do it again. Inhale 1/3 and then pause. Inhale middle third. And now inhale upward third. And exhale smoothly. Let's do it twice more. So inhale 1/3. Pausing. Middle third. Pausing. Upward third. Exhale, push out. Raise your spine tall. So as the arms go down, the inner body can get lighter, longer. And then last time. So 1/3 inhale. 2nd third. Upper third. And exhale, arms wide. Clear the windows of the mind. Lengthen your spine upwards. And then please walk forward any amount of a forward bend for you. Bow your head gently towards the floor. And now just watching the breath. So I'm going to ask you, like I did yesterday, to have the inhale kind of fill out the parachute of the back body. And on the exhale, even though you're in a forward bend and it's a little bit rounded, concentrate on the tone of the low belly and then this little bit of length in your thoracic spine. You might even sense some length into the crown of your skull. And do that twice more. So this is more subtle practice. I was saying this yesterday, that the more subtle the practice, the more powerful we consider it to be. And this kind of breath practice right here is more subtle than the one that we were just doing. Now walk your hands back towards your hips, rise up to sitting, and we're going to do like a fast-paced exhale right now using the Kapalabhati And then we'll see what this is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, what we're capable of there. Okay, so sitting up tall, you're going to be exhaling out through the mouth with like as if there was a candle out here. So this is more like Bastrika. So you go very strongly and you pull the belly in, so that is to help clear the lungs, and you will feel the belly drawing in for that purpose. Then it has to release. Whatever inhale comes during the release is enough. You don't have to also inhale. If it helps you, you can set up your candle like this and then follow me, please. Now let yourself have a gentle inhale. Exhale. And now try this purposely. Inhale 1/3. Pausing. Middle third. Pausing. Upward third. And exhale with sound. Once more, 1/3. Middle third. Upward third. Exhale with sound. Set up your candle. We'll do it one more time. Let's begin. Okay, just take a natural breath, whatever that is. I'm very excited for you now. We'll do it 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 and see what it's like. Okay, so inhale 1/3, the first third. Middle third. Upper third. Sound. Okay, 1/3. Pausing. Middle third. Pausing. Upward third. Let yourself relax a few moments to feel, okay, what is the effect for your mind, your body? How present do you feel? Maybe you have the absence of toothache, the absence of leaf blower, the absence of certain thoughts. Okay, let's transition up to standing. Thank you for coming with me on that pranayama journey. This is because you are regular students, you have an intermediate practice and an intermediate understanding. If you feel that that was effective for you and you want to introduce it to a family member, it's helpful for them to have a little bit of regular pranayama first before something like that. Okay, please take a wide stance like this. So you've got your tripod, essentially. When we come down, you'll have your hands as a part of that tripod. And this is an equilateral triangle. Feet and hips the same distance, feet to feet, same distance. And then come down and place your fingers on the floor. And you can bow towards your legs in Prasarita Padottanasana. Okay, so we're going to use a moving breath here. On the inhale, we'll be taking the chest and heart forward. I'm also going to ask you to open your throat and lift your gaze, kind of like you would do in cow pose. On the exhale, bow towards your legs, press firmly into your palms, and use the strength of your arms and your abs to help complete the exhale. Then inhale, glide forward, start from your low belly, then mid-spine, thoracic spine, open your throat, bring your gaze forward. And exhale to bow towards your legs, press firmly down as you curl in. Inhale, glide forward, low belly, mid-back, your heart, your throat, your eyes. And exhale to bow deeply towards your legs. Again, use the strength of your arms and hands to curl inward. Please do that one more time as you reach outwards. Gaze forward. As you reach inwards, you may close your eyes. Gaze inward. Shift your hands to your hips, please. Rise up to standing. And just as we did yesterday, let's also do the jazz dance warm-up pose. You're going to come down, right? We're going to do a little cat-cow while we're here. So keep the legs steady. Press out through your inner thighs into your hands and knees. And when you inhale, try lifting your heart and opening your throat. Lift your gaze. When you exhale, press down into both knees, strengthen both arms, and curl your spine like you're doing cat pose. Then inhale to open. You can even send the sitting bones back slightly. Lift your heart and your gaze. And exhale, press down into both arms. Lift your pubic bone, broaden the back of your body, gaze inward. Again, inhale like you're doing cow pose. Listen for that which is asking you from the inside to open. And as you exhale to curl in, that which from the inside is asking you to be grounded or rooted or centered in yourself. Once more, inhale to open. And then exhale to your cat pose while you're using your jazz dance warm-up. Press down to rise up, and let's go heel toe to center. And then we'll step forward for Surya Namaskar, the sun salutation. Okay, so let's use 2 blocks for the sun salutation. And we're going to be including cat and cow in here too, so we can really sense the undulation of the spine as a part of your practice today. So please bring your hands together momentarily. Close your eyes. And as you go inside, just following what's transpired so far in your practice, you can ask, what within me needs me to be grounded, to stay at home in my body, to be centered? And what from within is asking for expression? What's being summoned? What's being elicited? And we have this pulsation, that which is innermost and that which gets expressed outwards. And perhaps we don't have clear responses to these questions, that we get to keep asking the question. So let's inhale, sweep the hands down now, wide and up. And as you exhale, bow forward and come down to Uttanasana. Okay, Ujjayi, inhale, glide your heart forward and open your throat, lift your gaze. And as you exhale, bow deeply towards your legs. Think of your cat pose spine in your deep low belly. Once more, inhale your heart forward. Think of your cow pose spine in your upper back and throat. Exhale, step your left foot straight back and use your cat pose spine here. Press into all 10 fingers. Round your spine, gaze back at your left toes. So this is using the basic lunge stance for the legs, but you've got kind of a cat pose going on here. So as you gaze back towards your left foot, go within asking, what needs me to be more grounded right now? Then root down for your tailbone. Inhale, sweep your arms wide using the low, middle, and upper third of the breath. When you come up, acknowledge that it's a very different position for the body, even neurologically, musculoskeletally, of course, but also neurologically. So as you reach up, open your throat, lift your gaze, asking, what is being summoned for you in life right now? And see if the response might come from your body, from a place deep inside, rather than from a sort of intellect. And when you exhale, make a wide circle of your arms and try to come down to that cat pose spine so your fingers reach the blocks you're already set up for it. And then release your upper back and step forward, Ardha Uttanasana. So the heart comes forward. Let's exhale, take your right toes back, please, and step into your cat pose spine here. So root down with the strength of your arms. Draw the deep low belly in towards the end of your exhale. Gaze back towards your right toes. So cat pose is inward. I often think of it like when the fern is still curled into itself in the forest before it unfurls. And when you're ready to, you're going to exhale, root your tailbone down, and then inhale, sweep your arms first third, middle third, upper third. Notice the courage in action here, that when we rise up and we're asking, okay, what is life summoning? That's a pretty big question. What is being summoned from within? When you next exhale, then make a wide circle of your arms and plan to come down, that you're already taking the shape of cat pose. So you've got the deep low belly, the left outer hip, left hamstring, and then place both hands and step backwards, please, to downward facing dog pose. So we're going to use the cat pose spine to roll forward towards plank. So as you're gazing at your toes right now, when you exhale, keep looking at your toes and roll your spine through cat pose to come to plank pose. With your inhale, bring your gaze slightly forward of your plank pose. And then exhale, keep gazing forward as you reach your hips high to your downward facing dog pose. And then gaze back at the toes. And now inhale, roll your spine forward. And exhale, bring your gaze forward. Keep looking forward. This time, inhale, reach your hips high into your downward facing dog pose. And exhale, gaze towards your toes. Curl the spine as you roll forward. Inhale, shift your gaze slightly forward, plank pose. And exhale, reach your hips high and back into downward dog. At the end of the exhale, bring your gaze towards your toes. And then step your right foot forward, please, and your left foot forward. And bow deeply towards your legs, Uttanasana. Okay, let's inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Use your Ujjayi breath. And exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, let's put that into rhythm now. So we're going to go with the breath. I'll step back so you can see the top of my head. Okay, so Ujjayi breathing. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Left toes back. Inhale, cat pose.
Exhale in cat pose. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, looking upwards. Inhale, reaching upwards. Exhale, coming down into the cat pose before you arrive. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. Exhale, right toes back. Inhale, cat pose. Exhale, in cat pose. Inhale to rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, gazing up. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, we're going to come down already in cat pose before your fingers reach the blocks. Inhale backwards, downward facing dog pose, gaze at your toes. Exhale, roll forward, plank. Inhale, gaze forward, plank. Exhale, gaze forward, downward dog pose. Bring your eyes to your toes at the very end. Inhale, roll forward, plank. Exhale, gaze forward, plank. Inhale, glide back, downward dog pose. Bring your eyes towards your toes only at the end. Now exhale, right foot forward and left foot forward. And bow towards your legs. Inhale, rise up, upward hand pose. And exhale, hands to your heart. And pause in mountain pose here, just to ask, okay, what in you is needing for you to be grounded, connected to the home, the refuge within you? And also, what is life summoning in you? And you can release both hands. And I'd like you to have a blanket. We're going to be using, so we're going to be approaching, let me say that differently. We're going to be approaching your inner thighs. I don't know how many of you were also gardening or hiking this weekend, but that does have a certain demand on the body. So I'm going to recommend that you have a blanket that's at least this wide. But for some of you, because your legs are longer than mine, it might be helpful to have your blanket be wider yet again. So this is one way to set that up. So I folded it a few times so that there's plenty of space for the knees. We're going to start in child's pose, but it's going to become tadpole pose. Then we'll look at a variation on gate pose, and then we'll look at frog pose. Okay, so let's put the knees on the blanket for padding and come down to child's pose. And just like yesterday for child's pose, please turn your palms face up. Place the back of your elbows on the floor. So when you come to child's pose, it is a pose that's inward. We say inward and downward. So that guna is called tamas. And the tamas guna is to help us be stable, grounded, rooted. Notice the influence in your mind, in your body, in your physiology for child's pose. And then you're going to shift your knees out slightly. So left knee, right knee out a little bit wider. Please keep your hips moving back towards your heels. We're going to call this, it's like a wide-kneed child's pose, but I'm going to also call it tadpole pose. So walk your hands a little bit forward now and press firmly down into both hands to take your hips towards your heels with even more deliberateness. So when you inhale, this is an ideal time now to have the inhale expand the back of your body, and then the exhale, I want you to really follow the tone of the deep low belly and the length of your thoracic spine and then your cervical spine. When you inhale, you can increase the pressure into your hands to help you broaden the back of your body. When you exhale, tone your low belly. As you lengthen your thoracic spine, it might feel natural to also press your hands firmly down. Then inhale, press your hands forward as you broaden the back of your body. And exhale, tone your low belly, press your palms down and lengthen your thoracic spine. Now come up to your knees and hands and place your left knee directly under your left hip and step your right foot out to the side on this diagonal. So this is a variation on gate pose. So there you go. Now I'm going to ask you to keep your left knee centered, right leg steady. Come down to your elbows. And as you breathe in and out through the nose, notice the stretch on the right inner thigh if there is one. And when you inhale, try broadening the back of your body to ask, how can I be more inward, more connected, but also expansive within yourself? When you exhale, tone your low belly and lengthen your thoracic spine. And inhale to broaden the back of your body again, just checking in so that inner place of refuge can be a more expansive place within you. Now place your right forearm across your mat. Take a block on the tall setting for your left hand and please twist to your left. And try the same thing with the breath, that the inhale broadens the back of your body. And on the exhale, you can lengthen your spine by toning your low belly and then focusing in the back of your heart, your thoracic spine, then your cervical spine. And then just to have a little whimsy, keep your right elbow strong and inhale, raise your left arm up. And then let's exhale to release. Okay, step your right knee in, place it directly under your right hip. Step your left foot out. And you can come down to your elbows. It's also okay if the floor feels too far away for your elbows, you could put your blocks under your elbows. But in this position, I'd like you to have the right thigh vertical and really think about lengthening the left inner thigh. One way to do that, a little nuance, is to think, how can you move your right sitting bone to the right? So the question people usually ask is, how can I keep walking my left leg to the left? And I'm not recommending that one at the moment, but how could you take the right sitting bone to the right and feel into your left inner thigh? And as you inhale, broaden the back hemisphere of your body. Think about it as you're expanding the place of refuge within you, a place of coming home, feeling safe, connected, grounded. And on the exhale, you lengthen from your deep low belly tone and then through your thoracic spine and the crown of your skull. But the inhale is a chance to return to that inward place. And though these are subtle movements of the spine, you can have a felt sense of it orchestrated by your breath. Now we're going to take the left forearm across the mat and put a block on the right side. You can make it tall. So the taller the block, the more power you have in your twist. So like this. And as you press down with your right arm, press your left elbow also firmly down. And as you're breathing through this experience, consider the same kind of assignment for the breath, the inhale to expand the back of your body. And the exhale to tone your low belly and lengthen. Try that once more with support. And then if you feel inclined to, just for a little bit of whimsy, but it also is going to give you information, you could pick up your right arm and see what is your twist to the right like relative to the twist you just had to your left. And then we're going to exhale and release this one. And as promised, we're going to be going to the frog pose. But for a few moments, let's come back to sit on your block in Vajrasana. The frog pose is, you know, there was a time in the yoga community where your most requested yoga pose, this was like in the early 2000s, the most requested pose was pigeon pose. I've never had frog pose be the most requested pose. I have had Savasana be requested a lot, but never frog pose. So let's come upright, Vajrasana, and then we'll be exploring the frog pose. Listen for how things are within you. So frog pose comes from child's pose to tadpole pose to frog pose. Let's see how we do. Okay. If you want to, you can use blocks, of course, to make the elbows have more support, but you're going to start, let's start in tadpole pose. So the knees can go out to the side, and you're going to have the hands forward, and then shift your body weight forward until your hips are over this line of your knees, and slide the knees out. Let's keep the big toes together for now so the knees do go apart. And please don't come further forward with your hips than the line you have with your knees. And so already, hello to the inner thighs here in frog pose. This is tadpole becoming frog pose. Let's see what happens if you bring a little cat pose into your spine as you inhale. And a little cow pose into your spine as you exhale. In your inhale with cat pose, it is okay to root your tailbone kind of strongly, broaden the back of your body. When you exhale and you're going to this sort of cow pose spine, please don't overarch your lower back. Think of the exhale and cow pose right now as you're toning the deep belly and lengthening your thoracic spine. We're not asking how much arch can you put in your lower back, but rather how much length can you find for your spine. Now, separate your feet so the toes point out to the sides of the room. And what that means is that now you're in frog pose. The toes point out. You can have your heels be as wide apart as your knees are. Please keep your hips not further forward than your knees. And we do it again with this subtle cat and cow in the spine. So inhale to cat pose. And exhale, think of your cow pose spine, very subtle, not a huge amount of movement, but you can feel the tone of the low belly, the length of your thoracic spine. Again, inhale for a little cat pose feeling, going inward. Exhale for a little cow pose feeling, extending something outwards, whatever quality that is for you. And twice more. Inhale, a little bit of cat pose. And exhale through your cow pose spine. Now here's an interesting thing. Put the big toes back together. Your knees will have slid a little bit further apart. And as you start walking backwards with your hips towards your heels, you may be saying hello to sensations that you didn't have yet in this practice this morning. Walk your hips back towards your heels as well as you can. And then walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Okay, so you have your legs in your frog pose. Press your hips down towards your heels. Bring your heart forward. And then press into both hands and lift your knees to glide them in. And roll up, roll up to sitting for a moment. With this blanket under your knees and not under your hips or feet, your hips get to descend a little bit down towards your heels, and the knees ascend a tiny bit because of the blanket. So notice what that's like in your pelvis. I'm going to ask you to take this blanket and we're going to roll it. So if you wouldn't mind, you can take the whole blanket and put it back in this fold, like this. And then take it long side to long side and please roll it. And place that. It's going to be for your hips. So when you first go to lie down, don't put your hips on the blanket right away. You can lie back like this. And then scoot yourself so you can put the blanket under your tailbone, like so. And then bring your knees to your chest and let them kind of fall towards your chest because you've elevated your hips a little bit. Let's see if that's enough to give some movement of your knees towards their own shoulders. Okay, good. And then reach between to hold the big toes. Those are your big toes. Let's take the knees out to the side a little bit and bring the feet up just above your pubic bone or your belly button. And you can rock a little bit on the blanket, find out what's present there. And then choose a place, excuse me, where you can stay for a few breaths and feel centered. So with your hips elevated here, when you bring the feet and toes kind of over your pubic bone, over your belly button, the knees go out to the side. It's okay. For some of you, you might find that your elbows are right there to give a little pressure, some kind pressure against the inner thighs. Then you can reach around the feet to hold them. You might even clasp your hands around the feet. And let's start bringing the feet towards your head as if you're going to put a hat on, and bring your head up towards your feet, knowing that it's not the case for all of us that the head and the feet will touch. And then when you go to release, what you're going to do is bring your heels down just over your pubic bone. And lay back so your elbows are actually straightened by the position. So press your shoulders down towards the floor, be deliberate there, but press your feet away from your shoulders so that you're actively straightening your elbows. And you have to use some force to bring the shoulders down towards the floor. Press your knees out to the side. And take one more deep breath in. And then exhale and release your feet back to the floor in this gently supported, very tiny inversion for your pelvis. And then scoot the blanket just below your sitting bones and stretch out to come to Savasana. So you were working a lot there on neurological responses in the body between what we call dorsal vagal and ventral vagal. Don't think too much about it, but come promptly to Shavasana. And if you would feel comforted by it, you can cover with a blanket. You're also welcome to take the arms out, palms face up, or palms face down, or hands over the abdomen in a comforting gesture. So Shavasana is the pose of integration, where you get to experience the renewal that you're working towards right now. So in a way, Shavasana is also the time where we discard the rubbish, we call it. We discard that which has been. We let the yayas go downstream. And we get to rest back into what is. Relax the eyelids over your eyes and soften the place between your eyebrows. Allow your forehead to become really smooth. And imagine the space right behind your forehead also deeply relaxing. And relax the corners of your eyes so the temples also become smooth. And from the bridge of your nose down over your cheeks, invite the muscles of your cheeks to soften. And allow that softening to go inwards towards the ears, the inner ear canals, outer ear, middle ear, inner ear. And invite your tongue to be heavy with relaxation. You can loosen the hinge of your jaw, where the lower jaw and the upper jaw meet. Soften the muscles at that joint. As your senses relax, as they soften, let your mind become heavier with relaxation. Let your shoulders to drop back towards the floor a few degrees more. Welcome your senses, your mind, and your shoulders to get a little bit heavier yet again, heavy with relaxation. And allowing the heaviness, the grounding that we call tamas, like the earth. Just try to sense in your heart the quality we call sattva, that which is lucid and clear. It has a quiet sense of expansion, no sense of boundaries. It's porous, like the nature of compassion. In yoga, we have a sense that that sattva can come through us. So compassion is larger than we are and comes through us like music comes through a flute. And our species is dependent upon these compassion networks in our brains and bodies. And then rajas is the part of us that brings wisdom into action, that has clear motivation. You might just wonder how this tamas, this grounding, and this sattva, this heart, how will rajas help them in your day to day, that you can collaborate. You are grounded. You're also able to touch the expansion of compassion. And you can lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. And thoughtfully bend one knee at a time. And When you're ready to roll to your side, and you can use both hands to come back up to sitting. Take a seat where you can feel your own sense of center. In the seated pyramid posture, tamas is this foundation here, this grounding. Rajas is the inner motivation, that we can follow that which is being summoned. We need to be resourced from this tamas. And sattva is then from the heart to the clear mind, clear sight. And bring your hands together at your heart. You may sing with me if you like. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Om. May there be inner peace. May there be peace amongst us. May there be peace in all the realms. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. I will come up to visit and find out how you are. Thank you, Susie, for switching the camera back. I appreciate that. Now I get to